Hi guys. So I've come up with an extra credit assignment that I'm opening up to everybody because I have to do this for my class that I'm taking for my graduate school. So one of the things that this class has been teaching me about is this thing called mentor texts, which are usually used in English classes. However, I'm clearly not an English teacher. So what I'm going to have you guys do is kind of take the idea of mentor texts and apply it to a little book that I like called Women in Science. So, what are mentor texts? Well, basically, what they are is that you're basically reading some type of literary work, or any type of work in general, biographies, scientific writing, doesn't really matter. All of those are given. And the idea here is that you're looking to find what your effective writer's motives might be. So, like if you're reading an essay, for example, what does the writer do to allow for you to feel a certain way if it's a persuasive essay? You also look at kind of some of their conventions, some of their features that they're using within there to craft their work. And then you take that information that you found and you go ahead and emulate these into your own work that you might do. A lot of times, make you write it right off the bat here, and that's what I'm going to have you guys do. So that's essentially what mentor texts are and how we use them in education. So the mentor text that I've chosen for this is going to be Women in Science. And essentially, what this is it's a book that talks about 50 different women that make an impact on science. A lot of them could be, biologists. They can also be chemists. They could be doctors, and they could be microbiologists. And there's a lot of different things that a lot of different careers that these women have. It's written by this author, and she also illustrates it as well. So it's kind of a little bit on the inspirational side to kind of also engage people to read it. And so her name is Rachel Ignace, and she's a New York Times bestseller. She has written a lot of different works about women and how they've made impacts in different careers. She's got women in sports, different things along those lines. But mostly what she focuses on is STEM careers for women and inspiring women to, pursue those different careers that they may not have been able to do otherwise. So some of her writing features, obviously, she wants to inspire people to become women in STEM careers. A lot of these women that we talk about, when we talk about, a lot of the major scientists, unfortunately, in any of the classes, I've only talked really about men. There haven't been a whole lot of women that have made a serious impact that go into our curriculum. And that's just unfortunately how it is. So what she wants to do is help change that and make us become more important as women in science. She also uses a lot of facts in her. She makes sure that all of her information is based in facts. She tries to develop something that is relatable and someone that you could be easily, because they really didn't have to. I mean, they did a lot of crazy work, right? But at the end of the day, they just worked in a time that didn't, most people didn't understand that. Most of her tone is going to be in allowing for inspiration. She adds in extra things within her works, like, ending along those lines that allow for inspiration and the idea that you could become the next scientist, or you could become the next sports person, or you could become the next whatever as a woman. And she wants to make sure that she tells the story of the person with respect to other people, to make sure that it's not just the only situation, not just that we're looking at this one person, but we also talk about other things that they have contributed to. So when I went through and I read through these different mentor texts, I came up with some ideas that, inspired me to write this assignment that I'm going to have you guys do. So the first one was I always looked at each one of them. Every single woman had some type of goal that they were reaching for, something that they wanted to discover. And that's kind of what inspired me to write. Kind of what does inspire me? What are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? Who do I want to inspire, as I'm reading these things? And what do I want my daughter to think of when I'm thinking of science? Do I want her to become a scientist or not? Obviously, I'm a little biased, and I do. So this is what I wrote, and I will post this online. But the idea here is that I wrote myself as if I am for 10 years from now, what do I want to be? What type of impact do I want to make on the world? And so that's kind of, and what I did is I wrote myself as a biography in 10 years. What do I hope that I was able to, impact? So I said, I wanted to be want to be nominated for Teacher of the Year. I wanted to be State Teacher of the Year. This is something that maybe it's a goal of mine. I may never ever get to there, but it's something that's a goal. I want to make sure that, I want to create more of a flipped classroom, but at the same point, I want to have student engagement. So I want to come up with new ways to create student engagement in science. I want to, at the end of the day, I want to eventually have students that go and become great scientists that lead to discoveries that I'm unable to make. And that's totally fine with me. If I can take credit that one of my students eventually, came out and decided to become a, scientist that discovered the cure for, some type of cancer, I'd be really excited about that. So this is kind of the ideas that I wanted to put into my mentor text. And so this is what I will post online for you guys to look at as well. Okay, so what you guys are going to do, you're going to read through, I'm going to link a PowerPoint to this about specific chemist or chemistry related women scientists. The idea is you're going to read through this and you're going to look at what, kind of what the kind of things that I looked at, my goals that I saw, the topics that I really, found when I was working through this. And in addition, I want you to also look at the ending here and figure out, what does that inspire you to do? What are you getting this inspiration? What are your goals in life? Then finally, what you're going to do is you're going to basically write. You're going to fill out a mentor text form chart that I'm going to give to you. So I'll post this all online for you with this video. And the idea here is that you want to write a response to what my prompt is within this writing assignment. Within this writing assignment, you should also use the writing features that the author uses within there. A lot of them were infos that were based in facts, respect to people and how their life story was, and making a real and relatable person, okay? A lot of the things that I talked about specifically when we were talking about her writing features, you should use some of those within your writing, okay? In addition, you need to make sure that you have proper use of any type of scientific writing. We need to use proper use of comma, proper use of semicolons, and proper use of colons, but also make sure that any scientific terms that you use to relate to this, you should make sure that they are correctly spelled, okay? So this is what I'm going to do. So I just want to show you what the mentor text paper looks like. You're going to basically, what your directions for this assignment are, you should go ahead and on a separate document, read all of this. While you're reading these, fill out the chart below. And then you're going to basically imagine yourself in 10 years. What are your goals? Who do you want to inspire? You're going to write a biography of yourself in 10 years. Okay? And kind of use the inspiration idea to craft your biography. Okay? This should be at least 5 paragraphs in length. Mine is 5 paragraphs in length if you saw. Okay? This will be worth an additional 30 points towards your overall grade, just 30 points in general. They're not 30 percentage points, they're just 30 points. Pretty much the equivalent to a lab. It's a little bit less than a lab or a homework assignment, okay? So this is essentially like a free homework assignment. If you missed one, now you have something to make it up, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and post this online for you. I expect this to be done by next week on Tuesday, okay? And I will look over it. This is also going to be graded for completion, but I will look and see how you do it because I want to see, how we're going to do this since it is an extra credit assignment. If you do it, you get the 30 points. Okay?